Now, several questions arise at this point in time. Now, what does this escalation mean? What will be its impact globally and on India? Will this trigger another rise in prices of petroleum products, thus leading to inflation? What if this transforms into a multi-front war? Will India be drawn to it? What will be the long-term and short-term ramifications of this conflict in Israel? To discuss this, I'm being joined by Col Dibya Shankar Bhattacharya, an Indian Army veteran and defense expert. Welcome to Northeast Live, sir. Well, Colonel Bhattacharya, what we are witnessing now is unprecedented, the worst attack in the history of Israel. So it's a surprise attack that surely involved a high degree of planning. So how did the Israeli intelligence fail to detect this? Your take on this?
In fact, this surprise attack has all the hallmarks of proper planning, coordination, and I would say it has the likely approval from a major power in the region, and which in probability would be Iran, because Iran is a sworn enemy of Israel. Two things are important to note. This is the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War in 1973. However, the second aspect is more important, and that is that Israel had been planning all ahead that it would be the Hezbollah, who is in Lebanon, is a Lebanon-based organization and is the most powerful group in the region, which would attack Israel from the south. It never thought that the attack and on such a large magnitude will come from Hamas, which is in the Gaza Strip in the Palestinian area, and which is an area which is under close observation of the Israelis. So I think that this time the intelligence of Israel has not been correct, and it has been an intelligence failure.
All right. Now, Colonel Bhattacharya, what do you think is the strategic goal of this operation? Of course, we do know that there has been a constant conflict along the southern borders of Israel, but this is something massive. What is Hamas looking to achieve through this?
The conflict as it has occurred, I would say the strategic objective of Hamas would be definitely to draw Israel into a long drawn out and prolonged war. The aim would be to provoke Israel into a massive retaliation which would affect the civilians in the Gaza Strip, in the Palestinian area. And in case there is massive civilian casualties, there is a likelihood that the conflict which has been started would gather more Arab nations into its fold, and it might turn out to be an Israel-Arab conflict.
Okay. Now, Colonel, what will be the global impact of this clash if it escalates further?
There is going to be serious ramifications. As far as the global aspect is concerned, in fact, on your channel, I had spoken a few months back, and I had said that there are 5 global hotspots. The 5 global hotspots are Taiwan, the China-Taiwan conflict and China's attempt to capture Taiwan, the South China Sea, China's war with India in the Himalayas, 4th is the Russia-Ukraine, and 5th is in the Middle East. Out of these, 2 have already occurred. So, any conflict in the Middle East which draws in the Arab nations will have the most serious ramifications in terms of petroleum products, because this region is the largest producer and exporter of petroleum products. So, obviously, an increase in oil prices would result in rise in transportation costs, it would result in increased inflation, and high inflationary trend will definitely affect the economy of all major countries in the world. Secondly, with already one war going on in Russia and Ukraine, the world cannot afford to have another war in the Middle East, because the reason is any such conflict or battle often leads to serious miscalculations and serious consequences. Just to remind you, the First World War was started by a single shot when a gunman had shot the prince in Austria, and that started off a world war. I have a belief that various countries will try to take advantage of the situation in their own way, because this conflict is going to divide the world into three groups. The first would be the US and its allies, that is the NATO countries, which would be for Israel. The second group would be for the Arabs, that is basically using the proxy of Hezbollah and Hamas, that would be led by Iran, Qatar and other such countries. And of course, there will be countries like Russia, China and India, which would be on the neutral side. However, there is amongst these three countries which I named last, Russia has a vested interest in that the war in the Middle East takes the focus away from the Ukraine war, and the weaponry which was being supplied to Ukraine and which was sustaining the Ukrainian offensive will not be available, because America would like to arm Israel first.
All right. Now, Colonel Bhattacharya, what will be the impact on India? What all should we be prepared for? Of course, India has already extended support to Israel. So what do you have to say on this as well?
India and Israel have a long-standing relationship. Though officially, when Israel became independent in 1948, since then we did not have any official embassy level contacts. However, unofficially it was there. Once the relations were formally recognized, I would say that Israel exports US $3 billion to India. It is the third largest trading partner of India in Asia and the 10th largest in the world. Most and more importantly, after Russia, it is the second largest supplier of equipment, specifically military equipment, including sophisticated equipment, to the Indian Armed Forces. Therefore, there is going to be effect as far as the defense aspect, defense equipment is concerned, because any war or any non-supply by Israel in these trying times will lead India to be more reliant on Russia. Secondly, as far as the economy is concerned, Israel also exports a large amount of chemicals and other goods which are required for Indian factories. Therefore, it will have a repercussion on Indian production, industrial production and factories. The third and major impact would be on the prices of crude oil. Initially, when the UK-Russia war started, Russia gave a lot of oil. India imported a lot of oil, refined it and then sent it. In fact, we had surplus that we could refine and send it to others, and this was done at a very low cost. However, gradually, as the war sustained on, carried on, the prices of Russian oil has also gone up. The impact of this is that crude oil prices will go up, and once it goes up, obviously, it will affect the economy of India. This inflationary trend will result in decline of jobs. then the stock market would be definitely affected by this instability. And I feel that there will be a global impact which directly or indirectly will also affect India.
All right. Thank you so much, Colonel Dibya Shankar Bhattacharya, for joining to Northeast Live and giving your perspective on the entire matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.